guys, so today's Falling in Love February video is going to be about, just like the title says, falling in love with your life and how to kind of move forward in creating a life that you really love, Is that a good heart? That's a pretty good heart, huh? Pretty good at that. First off, I have to say, I hope you guys had an amazing Valentine's Day. I had a nice kind of relaxing week this week. I actually haven't experienced it yet, but I know I'm going to because you're looking at me back in time right now and I'm going to Arizona this week. So if you want to see the week in Arizona and what I was up to, check out my vlog channel. But before I hop in, I have to make an announcement again. Oops, Siri is listening to me. That was weird. I have to make an announcement again. Before I hop in, I'm going to be doing the same thing in this video that I did in my video on Monday. I am going to be responding to the first 1,000 comments. I know, crazy, but I'm really excited to talk to all of you. So that's kind of jumping, ahead of the point. I haven't even done the video yet, but I just want to let you guys know that right off the bat. So I guess I'm just going to jump right in. I'm really bad at like intros, like getting the ball rolling. And then once I go, I feel comfortable. But whenever I jump right in, I'm like, how do I even start this? I really want to get good at that this year. Like getting good from the start, not just like kind of walking and then getting it. So I think when you are really like, the reason I'm kind of talking about this weekend is because I feel like it ties in with Valentine's Day. And some of you might be taking this weekend to kind of lay low or chill, or maybe you have some time on your hands to just have a nice relaxing weekend to yourself. And I think when you have that time, sometimes it's cool to kind of take the time to let your brain breathe and let your brain dream. So I guess the way to open up this video and the way to kind of look at or where to start if you have this weekend to yourself is to start with the question, what are some things that you would love to do with your life? The process of like dreaming and setting goals and figuring out where you want to do, it is just that. It's a process. It takes time. There's no like, there might be things that you watch or books that you read that kind of like something clicks and then you move forward, but it's never usually one giant click and all of a sudden you have everything. Like life is a learning process, but I think that a good way, if you're having a hard time, I talked about it last month in How to Be Happy January about how to set goals and how to achieve them. But I know that some of you said you didn't even know like the precursor steps to that. Like, well, how do I know what kind of goals I want? How do I know how to even write the list of what I want? And believe me, I totally understand that. I know to some of you guys it might seem like I don't. Like it's really easy for me to just be like, I want this and I want that. But it's actually not. And so the point of that is I grew up in a household that encouraged me to dream. My parents encouraged me to dream and think about what I wanted to do. And it's still hard for me sometimes. So if you're having a hard time with that, don't feel discouraged and don't feel like, oh man, I'm a loser. Like, why can't I figure it out? Or this isn't for me, or, whatever. Just let yourself breathe. First off, breathe and let yourself dream. One thing that I'm realizing this year is that I need to think, it's almost like sometimes when we talk about dreams and goals, we think on such a big scale that like we don't want to do it, that like it's terrifying to take a step forward. So I think one good thing to do if you're like me is to picture the things that you love and the things that you want to do, but then picture them, take that dream and place it into your life right now and just kind of assume that that's what you're moving towards. I'm realizing that when you just kind of are like, sure, that sounds fun. Ooh, I like that. And you let yourself get excited with the things that you love and the things that you would want to do. And you picture it happening in your life right now, as opposed to some like big grandiose dream that's like unreachable or in the future and so terrifying that you can't make a step forward, that you're more likely to move and actually have those things happen when you picture that as your life right now. That's one thing that Dan and I have really been working on, both of us, is just like dreaming and getting excited about things and thinking about the things that we want to do and really letting ourselves get excited and picture it as if it's like that's the life we're living. Like, that's what we're walking towards, you know? So when you think about the things that you like, the things that you want to do, first off, for some people, it's good to keep like a notebook near you, or your iPhone, your iPad, or anything that you can jot notes down on, and let your brain kind of go crazy and think about all the fun things you'd really like to do. And, you know, write those down. Write down like, I love this. I love that, you know, and that's something that both Dan and I have been doing. I love, you know, girly things. I love music. I love this. Write down the things that you love. That's kind of a good place to start in terms of goal setting, because sometimes if you don't really know the things that you love or the things that you would really like to do, it's hard to set goals and get passionate about them, because if you don't really love it or you don't really want it, then sometimes setting goals, A, is just going to be hard, and B, even if you set them, you're not really going to have much drive to move towards them. And once you do that, I think it's good to kind of implement the things that I talked about in the January video, about which I'll link that down below. Yell at me in the comments if I forgot to link it, but I'll link that down below so that if you're doing this and you want to go back and kind of have a refresher with that, that might be a little earlier once you've, or a little easier once you've given yourself some time to sit and think and list out and draw the things that you love. I think that it's so important to fall in love with stuff before you even set goals, because like I said, if you don't love it, you're probably not going to be that great at it if you don't love it, because you're just not going to have the drive to really go for it. And it's not going to be exciting. And honestly, beyond drive or beyond being successful, like life and all the things that you do, like none of it really matters that much. You want to be happy with what you're doing. And I think the only way you can really be happy is if it's something that you love, first off. B, you're taking some kind of action, you know, it's you're in a state of like action towards the things that you love, and you just really take the time to reflect on those things that you love. I think actually taking time to think about like, oh, I love this and I'm grateful for that, and I really want to do that. I'm so grateful that I want to move towards that. I love that. Like that almost kind of puts in a sense of happiness, if that makes sense. I just went off on a huge tangent. I think the most important point that I really wanted to hit home in this video would be figuring out what you love, jotting down the things that you love, and then placing those things in your life right now. And the thing is, when you place them in your life right now and you put them in your brain as a sense of like, well, that's just what I'm doing, that's what I'm moving towards, it is trippy. My mom told me this when I was little, and I'm realizing how like 100% right she is. When you do that and you accept that as a reality, is like, well, that's what I'm going to do. Because really, guys, I'm telling you, if you set your mind and you really are like, well, that's just what I'm going to do, it kind of like, you kind of just start moving that way. So when you do that though, your eyes, it's like a part of your brain opens up and you're all of a sudden aware of every possibility that could lead you that way. Like, how do I explain that? I guess you start like noticing things when you're out in public, or coming up with creative solutions to move you in that direction that you might not have come up with if you hadn't gotten specific and sat down and thought about the things that you love and the things that you want to do. It's kind of like, ooh, this is a good equivalent. Okay. For those of you that own cars or anything, even on a small level, like a shirt that you buy or a pair of jeans, have you ever noticed that all of a sudden when you buy them, it seems like everybody else has them? Yeah, it's not because you bought them and everybody else has them. It's because you got it, and then all of a sudden there's a part of your brain that opened up to noticing everyone else that has it. So it's kind of the same concept, that once you take the time to sit down and go, I love this, I want to do that, I want to go towards that, a part of your brain opens up to seeing all the things and all the routes and the possibilities that you could take to get to that destination, because your brain just assumes, well, this is going to happen, so how do we make this happen? So yeah, I just went on another tangent, but I thought this would be a good topic to cover because this month is about love and loving yourself and loving life, and this week happens to be a lot about love with Valentine's Day, and I think that it is super important to love your life and love yourself. So I highly encourage you guys to sit down this weekend and write out the things that you love and the things that you want to see in your life. happen and the things that you would love to do. And also, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you already know or you already have goals or you have tips or suggestions or things to add on to what I said, or the things that you do to kind of move forward towards the things that you love in your life, leave them in the comment section down below or tweet them to me with the hashtag FILF. I like doing retweeting, talking over there, and I'm going to respond to the first 1,000 comments in the comment section. So I'm so excited to see what you guys do, and I'm excited to hopefully nudge you guys forward in creating a life that you really love. Dang, I'm getting good at these hearts. So I guess that's it. I will see you guys on Monday. Be sure to go check out my vlog channel if you want to see what I am up to this week, and I will see you later. I love you guys. Bye.
This feels right, feels so